Ren from Hallowed Be Thy Game, and today I'm going to share with you my top 10 favorite video game artists. Let's check it out. Thank you all so much for joining me for today's episode, and I just want to preface this video by saying this is a completely subjective list. Clearly, I am by no means an art connoisseur, so let me know down in the comments what your favorite art directions for video games are, or just your favorite artists for gaming in general. And with that, let's get to number 10. Akihiko Yoshida. Sometimes you realize you love such a video game art and aesthetic so much, and you don't often know the name behind it. I've been really bad about that in the past, but Final Fantasy XIV, Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy XII, a lot of the work in Nier, and also Bravely Default. Akihiko Yoshida is an excellent artist, and his art evokes a sense of mystery and adventure to me. Really, one of my favorite things about Final Fantasy XIV Online is the concept art you get for some of these major hub cities. It is breathtaking and mesmerizing. And it kind of often makes nods to games that have come before it and such like that, but Yoshida's work is just mesmerizing, and I am such a fan of it. I'm really hopeful that with the new PS Plus, we can get Vagrant Story to come to that service so we can just have a whole new generation of gamers appreciate a lot of his back catalog, because, you know, I also need to mention Tactics. I mean, such an iconic art design for his games, and a lot of times I'm just inspired to play his games just from his concept art alone. Number 9. Kosuke Fukushima. I am such a massive fan of kind of retro anime art, and I'm telling you, one of my favorite things about the Tales series is just that art direction, the character designs, and then also Sakura Wars. You'll find from me, especially in this list, that I love retro anime, like, you know, from the 80s and 90s. Obviously, I like a lot of the new stuff too, but that's kind of what I grew up with. There's such an iconic look with the Tales series, like with Berseria and all the other entries he's worked on, and especially Sakura Wars, that just... it feels fun and energetic to me. It makes me feel like I'm a teenager again. I can't explain it. It's just, I love that the essence that he can capture with his games. I feel like it's a defining characteristic of the Tales of series. I mean, instantly you can look at concept art for a character and know if it's from a Tales game or not. Honestly, I even started playing the Sakura Wars games just on the art alone. I love it. It's very iconic to me, and it kind of gives me warm and fuzzy feelings. But let me know down in the comments what your favorite character designs are for the Tales of series. Now, in my number 8 slot, I'm going to have to kind of admit my ignorance here and maybe ask for some help from the comments. This is kind of an honorable mention because back in the 80s, the Zelda art was kind of outsourced for its manual. And to my knowledge, there's kind of 4 unsung heroes or heroines, I don't know, that did the art for the manuals for the Legend of Zelda games, and unimaginably entranced by the nostalgia for them. When I was a kid, just being able to look at the concept art, you know, the art in the manuals, that was a part of the experience. And the Zelda art from the early 80s, and even all the way up to A Link to the Past, it enraptures me. I mean, it instantly transports me back, and I mean, I remember just rapidly going through the manuals for these games because the art is so adventurous, it's so innocent, it's nostalgic. My childhood just distilled down to an image. And honestly, some of my favorite things these days, I mean, the things that kind of shaped the way I love Zelda to this day is from that concept art. I just love the art direction. It's so iconic, and it's warm, and it's wonderful. But I just want to give a big kudos to these 4 unsung heroes that did this art. I wish there was more information about them that I could have gathered online, but again, if you know, please let me know who these artists were down in the comments. I would love to know. Number 7, Yoji Shinkawa, the Metal Gear series. Now, obviously, these artists have worked on a lot more things than just the things I'm listing, but the Metal Gear series is what just enraptured me into Shinkawa's art. There is a level of mystery and almost mysticism that fits so perfectly with the espionage and often otherworldly aspects of the Metal Gear series. You know, some of the haunting illustrations, I mean, you have Sniper Wolf, Psycho Mantis, and just the iconic Solid Snake. It's so fantastic, it's epic, it's hard, it's rough, It's visceral, and it just evokes these emotions of mystery, and I want to know. And these characters are almost on legendary status, which fits so perfectly with the story direction of the Metal Gear series, where you have this hardened old vet who's brought back for one final suicide mission. It's just excellence defined. And honestly, it's another one of those artists to where everyone knows if it's Shinkawa's art. You look and you see his art and you know just almost the mystery, because there's not like a lot of detail in the face. It's just, there's this level of like, there's a veil of mystery over it. And I can't explain it, but that's just it. There's an allure to his art that just immediately sucks me in, and I'm just head over heels for it. Honestly, the second I saw the concept art on the back of the PS1 disc, and I saw some of that, I went over to my cousin's house. He was playing Metal Gear Solid. I was looking through the manual, and I will never forget the feeling of, I have to know what is going on here. And it just really played into that cinematic direction that, the first Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1 was so famous for. And I feel a lot of that groundwork was set by that art direction and the art design of Yoji Shinkawa. Number 6, Suzuhito Yasuda. Now, you'll have to forgive me for my pronunciations of these names. However, the Devil Survivor series, Caladrius Blades, Digimon Cyber Sleuth, I love Yasuda's art. I am so hopeful that when we get a Devil Survivor 3, I'm trying to speak it into existence right now, but if we get that, Yasuda has to come back. He is so integral to that series. I love his kind of edgy, just the line work he does, the character designs he comes up with. I know he gets a lot of flack here and there for, a lot of fan service and stuff like that. But again, he has his own distinct art style. And even if you haven't played any of his games, I feel like you can recognize his art. It's so iconic and unique. I've never seen anything like it before or since. And that's why I feel he is so integral to the Devil Survivor series, which is a feat in of itself, because you have some of the greats that were a part of the SMT series, like Kazuma Kaneko, Doi. How do you compete with those greats? Well, Yasuda found a way to do it, and I love the Devil Survivor series. Again, it's just, for that series, it's very edgy, dark, visceral. It can be very, I don't want to say vulgar, but, his art plays into it so well, to where, there is a lot of backstabbing that can happen here and there, or there's a lot of people who can just die very violently. And Yasuda's art is just one and the same for me. And I'm so hopeful we haven't seen the last of him teaming up with the Devil Survivor series. Port 1 and 2 to the Switch and modern consoles, and for the love of God, get Devil Survivor 3 out already. Number 5, Masuyaki Doi. Look, it is no secret that I love the SMT series, and I'm going to be honest, SMT 4, 4 Apocalypse, and SMT 5 are excellent video games, and a lot of that is due to the new edition demon design to the series from Doi. Now, I know it can be a little controversial for some, but I just want to say, you have some unimaginably good demon designs like Minotaur, you have the character designs from 4, I mean, it was so good, even Xenoblade 3 wanted to get in on that action. However, Doi is just had a lot to compete with Kazuma Kaneko, because rightfully so, Kaneko is an extremely iconic artist, and he defined the series. So to come in place of that and follow the greatness, that is no easy feat, and the amount of pressure, I can't even imagine what he probably went through. And I'm not going to pretend to know, but I do know this. I love the demon designs and the character designs from SMT5. Despite my reservations about the story and such like that, that game had no problems with demon designs. And some of my favorites were adding Cleopatra, Dagda, Danu, and so many others that fit really well into the series. I feel like they just bring a lot of vision and just uniqueness to the series. And a lot of him being able to look at the myth and lore and be able to translate that into a video game, it was excellent. And I feel like the Doi needs to get more respect and kudos for what he does. And I think he's fantastic. Number 4, Kunihiko Tanaka, Xenosaga. Look, I am a big fan of the retro, and honestly, there is nothing more iconic, epic, and freaking awesome to me than the Xenosaga art design. Tanaka's done Xenogears, Xenoblade X, Xenosaga. It's freaking fantastic. He has created some of the most gorgeous and incredible characters and artwork and designs, and I love it so much. I am so hopeful that a whole new generation of gamers can be reintroduced to this series with modern day ports, of Xenosaga and Xenogears. Maybe again PS Plus can bring that to us, or maybe Square and Bandai Namco can throw everybody a bone and bring these JRPG juggernauts to modern consoles. I mean, can you imagine being able to play Xenogears and Xenosaga trilogy on the Switch and experience that incredible art design from Tanaka? I mean, Cosmos, I feel like if you don't even play JRPGs, you probably recognize Cosmos. She's so freaking cool. She looks epic, and it's just like that throughout the whole series. The mech designs and stuff like that, it's raw, it's futuristic, it's otherworldly, it's almost has an air of mysticism at times, and that is what is just encompassed in his art and his direction. I love that. I feel like it would just flourish in today's JRPG community, and it absolutely needs to be revitalized. Number 3, Kazuma Kaneko, SMT and Persona. Look, you knew he had to be on the list here. Honestly, depending on when you ask me, he may very well be my favorite. However, Kaneko has such a haunting and alluring design that will forever be timeless. I feel like the reason SMT and Persona are such iconic staples of gaming, that foundation was laid by Kaneko's art design. Obviously, you pair that with the God tier press turn paddle system that came in Nocturne. However, the art from Kaneko in Nocturne is mesmerizing. It is jaw-dropping. And honestly, when you look at some of the visuals, the games deal with otherworldly, kind of apocalyptic themes, and you get that sense of impending doom and awe, but it's so gorgeous to look at that you're kind of in this frozen state of just being mesmerized. And I feel like Kaneko is really one of those artists that it will forever, like 100 years from now, when a lot of these ancillary games are kind of forgotten and come and go, the fads come and go, this and that, people will look back at Kaneko's art and still be entranced by his vision. It's so unique. There is literally no other artist that can even come close to the art design of Kaneko. And I feel like that's something that can't be understated, is that there is a lot of emotions that are evoked by Kaneko, whereas, there's fun, adventure that you can see in maybe a Zelda manual. In Kaneko's art, you do kind of feel an apocalyptic sense of dread or fear maybe. There's like an eerie quality to his art that translate off the page into your heart, and that, I feel, is the sign of an incredible artist. Number 2. Akira Toriyama, Chrono Trigger, and the Dragon Quest series. Obviously, it did a Dragon Ball games as well, but these are video game artists, and I suck at fighters, okay? So, anyways, my heart will always treasure and cherish the art design of Akira Toriyama. I mean, Chrono Trigger, I've mentioned on multiple occasions that it has a level of nostalgia that is palpable to me. And I feel that Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest, he's such a titan of the gaming and anime, but those games are so distinct and so unique, and they stand on their own legs. Akira Toriyama's art brings a level of excitement to video games that it makes me ready to go out on an adventure. You kind of feel like a kid again. It's time to go save the day, repel the darkness, to go on the Dragon Quest. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, that looking at these games, playing these games, and that art direction and design, from the cute comical reactions that you can have from villains, or just like the determined adventurous look on the band of heroes, it makes you feel like a kid again. It makes you feel like you're ready to go out on an adventure, to just kind of, finally, rise to the challenge. And no matter what might be before you, no matter how long the road might be, you're going to rise to that challenge. And you pair that with, obviously, the musical accompaniments and stuff like that. It's all incredible, but that art is so distinct and it's so unique. And honestly, I owe Akira Toriyama so much, because he gave me and my brothers some of the most magical worlds to imagine and play in. And I will always feel a debt of gratitude for him. Number 1, Yoshitaka Amano. Now, it cannot be understated that Yoshitaka Amano has had the most profound of impacts on me when it comes to video games, and anime. I've mentioned before ethereal qualities that can be felt from some of these artists that are on this list with his work on the Final Fantasy concept art, but also and mainly my first introduction to him was with Vampire Hunter D. I know there is a video game for Vampire Hunter D, but unfortunately I never played it. I couldn't get it imported as a kid. But there is such a magical, mystical, and ethereal quality to his art to where you almost feel like it could wisp off the page when you're looking at it. It looks like it could be uncovered from like some treasure chest found deep under the earth from some long forgotten civilization where they showed pictures of the heroes of their day. It's that level of legendary status, a level that these characters have surpassed the normal bounds of human potential, and they have just reached and ascended to a quality of just absolute legendary status. And it is that to where, you know, if it's Vampire Hunter D and you have these gothic, eerie, almost terrifying looking imagery of just these demonic, evil vampires being slain by, you know, this Dhampir and Vampire Hunter D, or you might have the classic and iconic and gorgeous Final Fantasy concept arts where you have the logos to where it is beautiful, it's enchanting, and I feel his art on a absolutely molecular level because it has been with me my entire trip down games and anime. It has been so integral in that to where it will always, it has nostalgic qualities for me. It has eerie qualities for me. It just evokes a lot of emotion, and I absolutely cannot thank Yoshitaka Amano enough. I am head over heels for his art, and he is my favorite video game artist. But this is just my list. How about you? I would love to know your favorite video game artists down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for liking and subscribing. And I will see you all next time.